roll, Blue Dog.
Alright guys, today talk about I guess a little bit of marketing. Or how I decide when I sell my grain, how I sell my grain. There was quite a few questions about that on the last one. How you decide where you sell your grain and some considerations that go into that. Along the way we'll grind a couple of gears. But this morning we're taking off to Lucerne, Missouri to a Smithfield feed mill. Feed pigs. Come on. But first let's get a little trucking in and get our coffee drank. Gotta wait until this guy gets done dumping and then we get a pull on. I gotta go give him a sheet down here, tell him who I am, where it's going, how it's getting sold. Stay here, Blue Dog. Sure that wind tunnel of a dump right there is probably one of the coolest places on earth. Holy smokes. Oh, all the wind from northern Missouri goes right through this place. I swear. Oh. It also doesn't help that it's 12 degrees out. Let's go home. Apparently it's decided to start snowing. Interesting. Okay, so I got a lot of questions about marketing grain when we talked about it the last grain hauling video. I got 6 minutes until I gotta move. Yeah, this time now. One question people ask, can you forward or do I forward contract grain? Elevators like Cargill and places, they will have a bid. For instance, right now, Cargill in November, if you want to contract, say 1,000 bushels with them, they are offering $5.64 3/4. So you can call them and say, hey, I will bring you a load of corn, new crop. Tell them I'll go under contract with you to bring you 1,000 bushels of grain in November or a certain time frame, and you can lock in that price. People will do that, and then you kind of use your insured bushels to market that grain because you're really selling something that you don't have. That's how you can lock in a price when you think the prices are good before you even grow it, and then you don't have to take what's called a spot bid, which is just pretty much like this corn's getting sold for spot, which means that right now, today, the same thing, elevators, they go out and they have what they are paying right now for grain. So if you look at Cargill right here, the spot bid is $6.36, but you have the option to say, try and capture the carry. So if you look at April right there, you can get $6.54, which means that you can call them and say, hey, I'll bring you the corn in April, and then they'll pay you $6.54, and if you want to carry it, you can carry it. Either that, or you can sell it right now and get $6.36. So there's multiple ways that you can sell your grain throughout the year. It's pretty much endless how you can sell your grain. Yep. Then you got to decide where you want to sell your grain, and that has multiple factors that go into it as well. typically an end user will pay you the most. So like Cargill's an end user, Smithfield's an end user. Your local elevators like co-ops and stuff most likely aren't going to be the ones that are paying you the most money, because what they're going to do is take the grain, pay you for the grain, and then pretty much resell that grain at some point. So if you can take it to someone that's going to use it, you're going to get paid for it. But there's some catches to that. Oh, it's cold, Wayne. But I need to back up a little bit for me. Oh, come on, Bubba. You're gonna give me the licks, aren't you? I got a crank in my neck.
You do?
Yeah. Get the WD-40 out, Wayne. What do you think, bud? You going back with me? You hanging out with Wayne, taking naps on the couch? Is that naps on the couch with Wayne?
How many bushels? 1,000?
I don't know. Let's see what I had on my last load. 1,054 last load. It was a little. I was a little biffy.
Over?
A little biffy. I haven't been hauling with this truck, so I keep forgetting what the. I've been hauling with that IV truck. I don't think we can haul heavy anymore.
Yeah?
Well, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, if you get caught.
Yeah. You get pulled over, you just look at them and go, well, this must be some really good test weight corn, Mr. DOT officer. This must be some like 62, 63 pound test weight corn. I loaded it normal. There you go. Well, good deal. That means you can pay for this ticket. That means I'm about loaded. Okay. Is Bandit hanging out with you, or is he going back with me? Hanging out with you? Okay. All right. I'll call you when I get back this way.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. So when you sell grain, it's kind of up to the farmer. When they think the prices are good, when they need cash flows, tax liabilities, all of these things, payments, you know, which goes in kind of with cash flows. If your grain's in good condition, not in good condition, you want to pull it out, then that's it. You know, that's pretty much multiple reasons why and when you would sell your grain. It is a business. You don't just grow it to hold it in your bin. You got to sell it at some point. So you got to choose where to sell it at that point. For instance, the best place for us to go right now with our soybeans is to Quincy, Illinois, to ADM there. The issue with that is that that's a pretty hefty haul for us. And then on top of that, you got to go into Illinois. And Illinois is not friendly to farm drivers, farm trucks, and they don't do weight exemptions during the harvest. But anyways, that is the best place for our soybeans to go. It has the lowest basis. Stay with me here, because this is where things get kind of interesting, you could say, for marketing grain. So on the board, we'll go back to, for instance, we'll just go back to Cargill. Looking at this, the spot bid is $6.51, which means that that's on the futures. Cargill's putting a negative 15-cent basis onto that, and that's where they will pay you $6.36. What that basis is pretty much what an elevator or an end user uses to manipulate what they will pay for grain. So if they really don't want a lot of grain, or they really want grain, if they want grain, they'll go to a positive basis. That happens. If they don't want grain, they'll lower their basis. You know, they can only process so much, and so they're working with that. So the basis moves throughout the year. That's what you look at. You look at the basis, and then on top of that, you put in, hey, how much do I think it's going to charge or cost me to haul the grain somewhere? And you kind of make your decision on where you're going to take the grain. And then obviously on top of that, you got to decide, hey, is that elevator even open? Are they doing business when you want to do business, when you want to ship the grain? On top of that, another thing that comes into play is how they actually dock your grain. If you're bringing in wet grain or wet corn, the dockage schedule is not the same for each elevator. Some places will charge you everything over 15. They will start discounting it because you're selling them water basically. Some of them charge you a drying fee, some of them charge you a shrinkage fee. Multiple reasons of they'll just try and dock off what they can. You got to bring that into effect as well. Then you also go to places like, I think, don't quote me on this, but like Cargill, you get probed at Cargill, they charge you for probing. And then they also then charge you a grain assessment fee, where other places, they don't do that. You know, you got to look at some of that stuff because, you know, they might charge you 50 bucks a load just to bring it in there and sell it at their location over another place. One thing that I know I need to work on as a young guy or a young farmer, I need to work on actually, not necessarily in my marketing plan, because I always have a marketing plan. That doesn't mean it's always easy to follow a marketing plan. I need to work on owning my grain on paper, which means like calls and puts. It means that you got to go into a broker and use a broker, and I haven't done that yet. Something that I need to look at. So then the other thing you got to deal with when you think about marketing your grain is how you can store it, how you can handle it. So for instance, you can sell it right off the combine in the fall. You only have to touch it once. Good deals about that. Usually if it's spot corn, fall prices aren't always the best. Lines can be long, slows down your harvest, all of these things. But without storage, you really don't have an option. You can also then take it to an elevator and you can actually, they will charge you, but you can store it and not price it there. And obviously on-farm storage. But if you want to store it on your farm, you got to have that grain into a good condition. For instance, for me, going into my hay season, I have only been able to store grain twice. Now granted, a large majority of that is that I didn't have anywhere to store it. The first year I did it, I rented a grain bin. And then this year, using the Kinsey grain cart and the scales on it, we were able to keep track of what grain went into which grain bins, and that was another way to really increase our ability to store the grain. So we had that option this year and we're taking advantage of it. Plus, it speeds up harvest, because you're not doing what I'm doing right now, which is sitting in line. Yeah, I'm wondering what I'm doing here too today. What am I gonna do with that truck? Beans are down 60 cents today. Corn's down 30. Good time to jump back into this marketing video that I was shooting to you guys. 10 degrees, 13 degrees. Let's see if a truck will start. So I'm going to attempt to haul some soybeans here. There's actually a marketing opportunity pretty much with one of our local people. They actually lock in their price until 2 o'clock. So on days where grain goes up high, you don't want to take it before 2 o'clock. If it drops below, drops significantly, you'd want to haul in before 2 o'clock. And I told myself I personally have about 2,000 bushels worth of beans left. And I told myself that on a day that it significantly retracted would be the day that I'd haul in at least one of those 2 loads. We'll see if we can maybe even get 2 of those 2 loads in there. See if this gal's gonna do what she should do or not. Next is I'm not sure how to get the snow off the cart. I was also not aware that we were supposed to get 2 to 3 inches of snow.
Hello?
Volvo started.
The Volvo started?
Yeah, Volvo started. So,
okay, did you e-serve it or anything?
No, just cranked her a little bit and she went.
She went, huh?
Yeah, putting new batteries in it would be it.
So are you gonna put beans on it?
Yeah, beans are down 60 cents.
I wonder if they're still locked.
I don't know. I should probably call and ask them, shouldn't I? I called and asked her if she's taking beans, and she said, yeah, they're taking beans. So I better call and ask and say, hey, is your price still locked in there, you know, until 2? If it is, it's like she's getting beans, because that's $1,200. I doubt I can get 2 loads in there. I don't know, maybe, possibly.
Well, I could be leaving here in about 10 minutes, probably.
Okay,
so
yeah.
In about 20.
Okay, that'll work. I need someone to watch this truck for me. Yeah. That should be interesting. I'd be willing to guess the inside of that tarp now resembles a Swiss roll. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at that. We're even moving. Are we dragging? Okay, so I'm getting home from work here, and I got to finish up and shoot an end clip to this video. This video, luckily, actually took me about 20 days to do. Shot a little bit of eclipse every now and then. Louisville was in there, did a couple other videos in between then, and now we're here again. Things have gotten absolutely crazy in the ag market. I think at one point in this video, I think corn spot price was $6.36. Now Russia's invaded Ukraine. Spot price corn is over $7. At one point, the futures hit $8. The elevators and end users, they're changing basically the months that they're bidding off of, the future months that they're bidding off of. They're widening their basis. The volatility we've got going on is crazy. We're seeing limit up on corn and soybeans every now and then, and we're seeing prices drop significantly every now and then. I mean, I don't think beans have swung a full $1 in one day, but it's gotten to be getting pretty close to being able to do that. It just goes to show how much of a world market that we live in right now. My iowANFarmer, the ANF, is capitalized, and you probably wonder why that is. And if you're from Iowa, you know what that is. The ANF stands for America Needs Farmers, but really the world needs farmers. In theory, now 2022 could be a rough one shaping up for farmers. Not only do we have to deal with the risk of growing the crop, we also have to deal with the volatility, which is a risk now in the markets. Someone's going to say, oh, they have crop insurance. Crop insurance only covers you so far. And crop insurance is not even across the board. Your crop insurance in our area, it doesn't do a whole lot for you. I mean, it helps, but it's not like we're the better of the dirts. And then someone will say, well, the prices are really good. We haven't even grown the crop, and fertilizer prices are ridiculously high. Chemical prices are ridiculously high if you can find them. Fuel prices, even though it's not that big of an expense in the theory of everything, they're high. It's just crazy. And I think I stated in another one of my videos, what scares me, especially as a young farmer, is if you go out there and you grow that high dollar crop and then the markets crash, and with the volatility and everything that's going on in the world, that's a possibility. That, or it could go the opposite way, and it could be just to the moon with the prices, which then will continue this issue, because guess what? The prices will keep going up on everything that we got to do to grow it. So hopefully you guys found, you know, that interesting. I've taken steps, you know, in my marketing plan. We talked about using it. You know, in this video I talked about using a broker. I've spoken with a broker, don't know what I'll do on that point. Gonna try some different contracts. Don't really know yet. I really, it's hard to plan with this volatility and just try and do your best job. I wish all the farmers out there the best of luck this year, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Is that a good deer leg, sir? Sir, is that a good deer leg? Do you recommend? 5-star?